Hi everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Tuesday to you and your family. We're taking a look at Gala, of course. Once more, seeing what's going on. Got a lot of requests, obviously, to kind of find out, hey, what's going to happen next? And, in truth, no one really does know, but the great thing is, everything we've looked at so far has pretty much happened. A lot of it's based on Fibonacci retracement, too. That's ultimately the winner here, because overextension and a handful of other things do matter. But Fibonacci retracement levels are kind of here for the win. And obviously, we'll take a look at that on smaller time frames. It makes a lot more sense without this extremely stretched out chart, if you will, right? So if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, really just love teaching people to trade. We've got a lot of new members joining the community, so thank you so much for that. And also, obviously, smart move on your part, because rates are going to adjust at the end of the month when we have our new website. But you can go here to register if you want to become a community member. CryptoCash.tech is a site to register for that. We have a amazing signal group where we send out signals for every single trade that I take. We took 220% from Solana here recently in 20 hours. And of course, a handful of other things ticked as well, because my goodness, Sunday and Monday, we got some fire for all of our trades that have been open from, a couple of days upwards of a couple of weeks, right? So we got 16 days, took, 40% from that. Solana, of course, that's the spot for that. In 8 hours, took 11%. Then, of course, if you see some of these other ones, 60% in 16 days, 32% in 7 hours. That's one of the Bitcoin trades we took yesterday, as a matter of fact. And actually, no, correction, it was 2 days ago on Sunday, because Bitcoin looked like it was ready to take off. So again, a lot of the success you can have is based on Bitcoin doing well or not well, okay? So in that sense, make sure you check that out at your earliest convenience, of course, but generally speaking, that's kind of what we're looking at there for the trading community. We've got some amazing traders here as well. Just everyone's kicking tail and doing awesome. Love what Mechanical Investor is able to do as well, really turning things around. Like some of us, got hit fairly hard in November with that FTX issue, and I'm really proud of my members for getting back in the saddle and just really rallying back on track. And they're all using Bitget too, because again, it's not only do they offer us a $10,000 prize pool monthly because I'm sponsored with them, but ultimately it's the best exchange I've ever used. I'm just not just saying that, honestly. It's tremendously faster and better than Bybit and or KuCoin. And again, you do need a VPN as per usual for any type of leverage trading you're going to be doing, but you do get 3 months free from ExpressVPN if you decide you want to register for a year. You should be using a VPN regardless of what you do, but especially if you're dealing with cryptocurrency. So thanks Express and Bitget for just allowing my members to have a better experience. So here's the thing with Gala. We need to recognize that it's starting to taper off, right? So let's take a quick look and just jump into overextension right away. We've got a 9 on TD sequential here, and that really just implies that we've had 9 days of bullish momentum. Now, traditionally, when you see 9 days in a row of continuation, or just 9 consecutive days where the fourth previous candlestick is lower than the current one, because basically what TD sequential is doing is taking the fourth previous candlestick and counting up to a 9. If the fourth previous candlestick is higher, then it's going to essentially continue to count. Once you hit 9, you hit this overtime type of situation where it shouldn't go much further because it's gone really far in a long amount of time. Too far, too soon, if you will, right? That's why I always kind of talk about healthy continuation patterns. We can identify if this is healthy or not at smaller time frames. So far, it really isn't, if you will, because we've got what? Big surprise, we've got some 3 white soldiers here. Really, really 3 strong green candles followed by a red fourth day. So if we cannot consolidate soon, Gala will absolutely retrace. And what it's going to do is going to retrace to some key Fibonacci retracement levels. And what do you know? 0.618 or 1.618 in this case is essentially a very strong, consistent number in Fibonacci. That's the common characteristical location for the price to pull back to. So I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this current support there at the 2.0 mark right there at 4.1 cents and come right back down to about the 3.6 and a half. Right there in that range is essentially where we should see a pullback. So to me, just based on that logic, I'm going to go ahead and set some kind of reminder here right around 3.7 cents and effectively get a reminder of reevaluating this chart. So again, when I set these alerts, I don't always just jump right in, but oftentimes when I do, it gives me more confidence knowing that that's a focal point for me. So when I come back and reevaluate, if things are looking forgiving, then that's exactly what we want to do. We want to have confirmation going into that. You don't just buy the dip because it's a dip, right? And get into a lot of trouble doing that. Regardless, that's what I'm going to focus on, is right around that 3.7 mark, because I do feel like we're going to see a pullback based on overextension and a handful of other things. Let's take a look at the RSI. I mean, this is starting to taper off, of course, as per usual. Another thing to recognize too, and I mentioned this yesterday, we got a strong resistance area here, not only with Fibonacci retracement at about 4.4, it's 4. We could round up, say 4.5, because again, there's this previous resistance, and just so you know, I'm not just drawing that number out of a hat. You can see this price point right here. It had a lot of trouble passing this plane to the downside, eventually broke, and then it becomes a resistance. You see that? That shift? It's going to be a resistance now for a little while until it can have enough volume to back that up. Okay, so even though we have a tremendous amount of volume at this price point, there's still more volume above this level than below, and that is essentially going to cause the price to reject initially. Okay, and we've seen one and two, not only one but also two rejection points there. So it's overextended. There's no other way around it, right? So regardless of the fact that the MACD does look very nice, it's just too much of a good thing, right? And I always like to say too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And in this case, we have too much of a good thing, okay? So again, take your profits while you still can. That's kind of the general consensus there. It could continue to run, but should it? Probably not. Again, you're stacking the odds in your favor by either selling or trimming your position, because even though we are closing above the 200-day SMA, we still have a tremendous amount of momentum going into this, and the continuation to the upside would just be a lot less likely. It's less occurrent. The probability is less, okay? We'll just put it that way. Because you can see here, take a look at this run here as well. We've hit 1 9 and 2 9s in a row. 2 9s in a row in a 4-hour time frame really implies we have 36 hours plus 36 hours of continuation. That's 72 hours of push to the upside. Now, it is 72 hours. If you do the math, you divide that by 24 hours, what is that? That's 3 trading days. What is 3 trading days? That is 3 white soldiers, essentially a candlestick pattern you should probably look up if you don't know it already. And it spells reversal. So tomorrow, we should expect and experience a red day if we don't see that already today. Now, I do love the fact that it's consolidating here. This is healthy, but this run and this run was not. Okay, it wasn't a nice, healthy staircase pattern. It's supposed to go up and over, okay? Now, instead, it kind of goes, semi-parabolic, and we're going to see somewhat of a correction because of that. Okay, so I would be very surprised the price doesn't pull back to 3.7. If it does hold its price point, continue higher, great. But just keep in mind, we're going to have to maintain this price point for a couple more days before the next leg up. If it tries to leg up again, it's going to fail. All right, because again, you can see it's trying, but it keeps getting rejected pretty hard. Right, it's like that ugly kid in school asking out the prom queen. I'm sorry. The odds are not in your favor. All right. Anyways, enough about that. Let's go ahead and recheck out some other things too. This is the thing I tried to focus on yesterday when I talked about RSI being up over 70 for too long on the 4-hour. When you see this and kind of compare it to previous time frames, anytime the price comes up over 70 on the RSI, it'll get rejected pretty hard. Okay. Now it's spent a long time above that. Let's see if we see anything else. You got to go back a ways. Here's one instance here where the price came up over 70, and then the RSI right there at this level, see it plateaued and came down. So this looks very familiar, where the price comes up and goes back down compared to where we're at right now. Okay, so again, we have a very, very similar pattern. So I think the likelihood of the price going higher from here is lower, unless there's a very strong fundamental catalyst. Okay. So again, just some stuff to kind of help you understand. We also have a MACD divergence on the horizon, and when these two cross, it really dispels, I wouldn't say disaster, but it definitely tells us the price should be going down and not up from here. It's less common for the price to bounce off this level. It can happen, don't get me wrong, but again, the odds of the price going down is tremendously higher than it going up. Why push it? You've already got some profits. Why not take those profits? It just doesn't make sense to be super greedy in this market. In case you didn't know, we're still in a bear market. We will be for likely the foreseeable future. I think this year, even if we were to break above, the 200-day SMA on the daily for Bitcoin, we're still going to be seeing some bearish characteristics. Okay, so we're not bullish by any stretch yet. Okay, so that said, why not protect your investment if you've invested in this and take some profits while you can? That's just my speculation there again. Let some ride. Don't get me wrong. Don't close the whole thing because it could still continue higher, but you should take more than 50% of your position. I take 65 in my first entry in most cases, sometimes upwards of 80%. So just know that there's proper ways of doing things, and this is absolutely spelling potential downside. Here's another reason why it's going to probably come down here too. You can see here, we're starting to establish lower highs, and the lower lows are concurrent. Oftentimes when you see a reverse action of this, it breaks to the upside. This implies that this support level keeps getting retested, and that the bulls can no longer be pushing the price action higher, whereas the bears keep pushing it lower. So a break to the downside makes a lot more sense here in this situation. I'd be very surprised if Gala continues higher from here. So why not take a short somewhere down to the range of 3.7, 3.8? It just makes sense. Again, that's just me thinking out loud. You do not have to do that. I'm not telling you to short. I'm just saying that if you're going to take a long position, wait for it. Okay. All right. So let's take a quick peek at TD sequential here. Just to kind of note the overextension, of course, so you can kind of see it. We had a 9 here, overextended, goes sideways, kind of a little bit of a reset here, and back up to a 7. So we got a 9 plus a 7. That's not terrible, but this is still not a super healthy continuation. Okay, it should look a little bit more like that. So again, it's like those sound effects are terrible. Don't listen to that. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at there. Obviously, it's overextended on pretty much every single time frame. While we do have a nice period of consolidation here, those lower highs as well as parallel lows is disconcerting. I do not like that. Furthermore, too, Ichimoku Cloud, the conservative indicator, is telling us to have closed our position by now because the lagging span intersected with the price action. We can also see the conversion line below the baseline, giving us that momentum to the downside. We have a potential divergence on the MACD on the 4-hour. That, concurrent with this, allows for the price to continue lower. The only saving grace we have is the price is above the cloud so far, but if we break below the cloud, then it's going to be a different story. So my personal thoughts is that we're going to lose the support level here at 4.1, trend closer towards 3.7, and continue lower. Or potentially actually bounce off that point. Now, neither of those things could happen, but at this point, I think that Gala just absolutely looks like it's losing momentum and losing steam, and it would make sense for the price to come back down. So whether or not you're going to short to a certain level or long from a different point, I would just recommend waiting for the price action to get into the 3-cent range, and then kind of go from there, reevaluate. Or, obviously, if you're going to short, make sure you have some tight profit targets in here, right? Hit all your targets before it hits 3.7, because it may not even hit that level. But all the signs are pointing down right now, and I would say we have about a 80% probability of a pullback to at least the level of this 1.618 level, that Fibonacci at 3.6, 3.7. That's my guess here. All right. So again, it's all just educated guessing. That's the bottom line. So if you want to be a better educated guesser, go ahead and join my community. CryptoCash.tech is the site, link down below. I average about 80-85% success rate in my trades, and we are taking some serious profits here recently. So again, congrats to all my community members. Look forward to working with you if you're not currently one, and I would recommend considering registering before I think it's the 23rd of January. That's when our new website is supposed to be unveiled. Okay, looking forward to it. Hope you have a good day. Thanks again for your time. See you next one.